Hi, Erica here, Assistant Director of RoLa Languages and an English teacher. So I'm here today to bring you a lesson on pronunciation, helping you with one of the big keys of good English pronunciation, which is about word stress. So what I mean by stress is when we're talking about the parts of the word that are stronger and the parts of the word that are weaker. So every language has their own pattern of stress of the words. But in English is not alone. It has a particular pattern. And so most of the words are going in a kind of up, down, up, down, up, down, a wave kind of pattern. And what it means is that the word parts are weaker. In terms of pronunciation, when I'm saying it's a stronger part or a stressed part, what I mean is when you say this part of the word, your voice usually is louder, the tone is higher, you spend more time saying this part of the word, and you usually pronounce more of the letters more clearly. Versus the unstressed or the weaker parts of the words are parts where you maybe will spend a very short time saying this part of the word. It's in a low tone, your voice is not very loud, and this is where we see some of the most common pronunciation changes between what you read and what you say. So there's a lot more kind of change in the weaker part of most words in English. So again, most words in English are going a kind of stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, an up-down kind of wave pattern. And it's really important for you as an English learner to understand this because you probably have noticed that sometimes it's really difficult for English speakers to understand you. And even if you're speaking clearly and you're saying all of the words that you should, the problem is if you're not saying it in the same way as a native English speaker, they are going to have a lot of trouble to understand what you're saying, and they might have to ask you to repeat, even if you're still saying the same words, but it's just the way you say them in terms of the stress is important for them to understand what you're trying to communicate. So to give you some examples of this, to hopefully make it a little bit clearer what I mean, I have some example words to help show this pattern. So for example, if you have just a one-syllable word, then that syllable is the only one, so it has to be stressed because there's only one in the word. Now, if you have a word with two syllables, or like two parts, two beats, for example, I have a word like compete, compete. So this word, I can hear that the first syllable, I'm saying it quicker, my voice is not as loud, the tone is lower, and it's shorter. And then for the second part, you can hear my voice is getting higher in tone, it's getting louder, there's more strength behind this part of the word. So I'm saying compete, compete. Okay, so you can hear it goes unstressed, stressed. Now, for example, with a three-syllable word, we have the word volunteer, volunteer. You can hear this word, it kind of, the first syllable is a stressed, actually technically this is called a secondary stress. It means it's kind of stressed, but it's not as powerful as a fully stressed syllable. But for our purposes, we're going to consider it stressed. So when I say volunteer, I'm going up, down, up. So I can hear, again, the wave that I was talking about before, about the rhythm of English. So volunteer, volunteer. You can hear my voice going up, down, up. Now I have one more example to give you, which is a word with four syllables, and this is inspiration, inspiration. And we can hear inspiration. We can hear, again, the up, down, okay? So this is a very important concept to understanding how words are pronounced by native speakers, and it will be really helpful for you to be able to be better understood when English speakers are listening to you, and you'll be much better understood by them if you can speak the words with the same stress that they're used to hearing. So obviously, there's a lot to remember with this, and while it's not going to be immediately obvious every time you learn a new word exactly what the stress pattern should be, but you will start to notice as you pay attention to this that there are some certain patterns you can track, and that you know, okay, there's a group of words that are all in this pattern, another group that are all in this pattern, and you'll hopefully start to see how it works and understand its role in good English pronunciation. So I hope that was helpful. It's time to get practicing. See you next Friday.